I'm going to take a drink of water, and
Sure.
I will answer any questions you have, and I will stay here until as long as Adam wants me to.
Awesome. Cool. What I wanted to ask everyone too is, while you're thinking about questions or specific things that you want to ask Andrew here, if you have any good resources that you want to share that maybe we didn't mention, please drop them in the chat, and we will make sure to, roll that up into the follow-up. There were a couple specific things that I wanted to say too. I came from the world of entrepreneurship before this, and I had to do a lot of selling, of partnerships, of vision, of value. I think a lot of people here have probably had to, in some way, shape, or form, even if you've never been like in an official sales role, you're probably selling ideas and trying to inspire others. With that, something that I learned a long time ago that Andrew glanced on really quick was during the phone interview, there's a trick within business development to actually put a mirror next to you if you're calling in and not speaking through video, because it's you happen to smile more. You are more aware of yourself, and you can hear that, like Andrew had mentioned, you can hear it through the phone. So a quick little trick: place the mirror there if you're calling in, and you'll probably notice that you'll sound a little bit more open. And if you're calling in on a video call, just be sure to look at yourself a little bit, and you'll find yourself smiling a little bit more. The other thing too is a book on that, if you're really curious, is there is an interesting book in sales that seems to have applied to a lot of different places in my life, and that's Spin Selling by Neil Rackham. So I wanted to throw that one out there. Okay, so we got a couple questions coming in here. Let's see what we can do. Okay, we've got a question asking, what criteria should we use to choose leadership opportunities to apply for? Some ask for leadership and production at the same time. What are red flags to look out for maybe jobs that you shouldn't be investing into? Andrew, can you share a little bit on that?
Okay. What I heard from that question is how to interpret the job, and what companies, how to interpret the job, and like how do you know if a company's like a good company? Is that the question?
I think so. I mean, I think for the person that submitted that, if you want to maybe drop into the chat or send me a quick note, we can come back to it if you'd like in a second, Andrew. There's another one.
Okay.
Here, just asking about like what was the conference and workshop, which actually is probably a broader question too. Like, how else can people get involved and learn more about this? Do you know? Please, can you talk about what's going on at Fuse and how, but also like what else out in the community, maybe things that you're not directly involved in that you know of that are good resources.
I'm a big fan of like the best investment you can make as a design leader is in yourself. So I read a ton. I try to go to as many conferences as I can. I do a lot of executive training, and I was really like at GE, like executive training is something that like they'll throw you into regularly, which is awesome. So I do a lot of do as much development into yourself as you can. Conference coming up, Fuse conference for design and strategy. It's actually really cool. It's more for like VP level. And I'm actually doing a full like masterclass on executive design leadership. So like I was like 4 hours of like me and only me. So it'd be cool. But there's like other stuff going on too. And actually I have a friends and family discount if anybody wants, like 50% off. So I'll throw that in the Slack. How Design Live, also another really good conference. There is a 2-day track with like a whole bunch of like leaders just talking about various aspects of leadership. It's going to be great. Well, the whole conference is great in general. But that's going to be coming up soon, and I'll throw that in the Slack channel too. Other stuff that's coming up is I talk to a lot of people. Like I think the design leadership forum is amazing because I get to like ping other VPs and leaders and like, how do you solve this problem? Like, let's talk. Like the idea of just having conversations or grabbing people offline, like people DM me and like I have open office hours once a week where I just like, I'll answer questions or I'll talk to people. I think that like the design leadership community is really important to just kind of do that knowledge share. So like, there's a lot of stuff out there. On my bookshelf, like if there's something specific, like DM me and I can give you a couple book recommendations if that's what you want.
Yeah, I would also want to echo what Andrew was just saying too about this community. I have been so impressed and inspired by how open people have been with each other. Quite a few of you use the DM side of Slack, or even email too, just asking for connections to others. And I have yet to see somebody not be open to a connection. So if you've heard of somebody else, like facilitators like Andrew or anybody else at the dinners, or just people that you've been to at the dinners but maybe haven't reconnected with. I'm happy to play matchmaker, but feel free just to reach out over Slack or email and just ask if there's somebody that you want to grab some time with. I found that most people in this community are really, really responsive to finding time for a virtual coffee. Cool. All right, so we did get some, got a little bit more context for that question that was coming before on like how to look for, like, what are the red flags when you're looking for a job? Okay. So to read it out is sometimes the job description asks for leadership, and when you go to the interview, they're actually asking for like junior to mid senior skills. So it's not really leadership at the end. So is there a way to like spot red flags in the job description or even in the interview process so that you're not essentially like burning time?
Yeah, there's a lot of that. You're not alone. You're way not alone. More reputable companies, the brands that they've navigated those things, and you'll get a better understanding of it. But like even with like global head of design roles, where like I'll go into them and they're trying to figure it out too, where they don't know how hands-on you need to be. The like the hands-on question and how in the weeds. It depends on the org, and also depends on the project. Like I was on the CMO's team at GE, but I still was like coding and building stuff when needed be, as well as doing like global design. So it all depends on the org and kind of what you're doing. So you really want to get a good insight into interpreting the job descriptions. Ping people who work at those companies. Hey, can you give me some context about what the culture is like? And you'll know whether you're going to be doing a lot of grunt work in a leadership role, or if you'll actually be able to spread your wings. Like, those are some things that might be helpful. Is that good, Adam?
Yeah, I think so. Another book recommendation that came through also is How to Win Friends and Influence People. Don't know how I forgot about that one. Huge. It's kind of a legacy classic read, but super.
Yeah, the Dale Carnegie stuff is good.
Yes. I think that's it for now. People are asking about meetups and stuff like that. I just want to make a plug for something that's coming, which is we're going to have kind of like this event in a box series for the DLF. So if you are in a place where maybe there hasn't been like an official dinner, lunch, or breakfast, we're trying to make it easier. So there's stuff coming on that. I know that there's some people calling in from like the other side of the world right now too. We're doing our first meetup in Nigeria this Saturday, where we're like really starting to test out this event in a box parcel so that y'all can get together, ask each other these kind of questions in a safe environment in person to continue the conversation. If there are no more questions, what I wanted to do is just ask for everyone's feedback. We're going to be sending out this survey in a second. This is an experiment in a lot of ways. This is kind of a tough topic to tune in. Like I'm sure a lot of you are going to be watching the recording later to tune in during work. And then it's also hard to truly, it's just a hard one to be a part of. The other thing too is we want to make sure that if this is valuable, what should the next step look like? So this survey is going to be, or the follow-up email is going to be a little bit more robust than usual. So if there were parts of this like we're really, really hitting for you, please tell us how we should dive into that and unpack a little bit more next time. So that's it. I just want to say a huge thank you to Andrew. A huge thank you to everybody here. Andrew, do you have any last words?
I think this is amazing. Like, thank you all for showing up. Like, I'm flattered that this content was good, and I hope it's helpful for you. And please reach out. This is obviously like Adam and I like really care about this. So just let us know how we can help you. All right, Adam, thank you very much. You're amazing. Thank you all, everyone else. I'll see you on the Slack channel.
Cool. Yeah. And just the last piece of comment here is someone just said, this is a really tough topic, but thank you for presenting it simply with actionable items. Awesome. Thank you all again. Talk soon. Have a good day.